Hello, my name is Ken, and I want to welcome you back to Deep Waters. This podcast is brought to you by Applied Strengths Ministry, where we believe working together in our strengths is the effect of working out the will and calling of God in our life. The title of this message is Hammerhead Shark. This is a multi-episode series in which this is episode 2 of 2. Now, sometimes I go into things I should probably avoid due to my lack of full revelation, but in this case, I will thing it so that you see what I think I see. Specifically the statement, the land is not able to bear all his words. Now I see that it would be very easy for God to overwhelm us if he were to indeed write down his every deed in the books. We nor the land could bear all that he has done. Can you imagine him sitting down on a talking rock? And of course it would be talking, as I've already proved everything has a language that can speak to the listening and open ear. God thinking about creating a dragonfly, peacock, especially the white ones, or how about the parrot, Wilson's bird of paradise, or mandarin duck, the family of jewel beetles, the Tyrannosaurus rex, or even Bigfoot? What was his thoughts and reasons or purpose for handling the dinosaurs the way they were handled? If I didn't know any better, I would think he planted them on Earth, knowing we would invite sin, that in his flooding the world he would sink the dinosaur species into what we now know as our oil reserves. And how much of today do we rely on those carcasses? According to Google, more than 6,000 products get their start in oil. You know, prior to sin, all the dinosaurs were vegetarians. No doubt after sin, they got human hungry. Num num num. I guess this is why they're no longer with us. What thought to the details of each thing God created? How each looks. My, how he painted some of his creatures with an exquisite show of colors, with his mind and heart. How determined? He determined how long each would live, the instincts imparted, even the guts inside. I always found it a mystery that some of these things appear to be void of blood or lungs. And what about a cockroach? What was he thinking? Well, I think this proves that even God can have an off day. I have said this before, and so I will say it again, unless it is the first time I have said it, which is that the Bible is not the whole story. Is it more than enough for a human? Yes, way more than we can grasp in 100 lifetimes. And dealing with the other end of the scale, am I saying that we can carelessly add or take away from it? No. Revelations 22:18-19. For I testify to everyone who hears the words of the prophecy of this book. If anyone adds to these things, God will add to him the plagues that are written in this book. And if anyone takes away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part from the book of life, and from the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. Deuteronomy 4:2. You shall not add to the word which I command you, nor take from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you. Deuteronomy 12:32. Whatever I command you, be careful to observe it, and you shall not add to it, nor take away from it. Proverbs 30:6. Do not add to his words, lest he rebuke you, and you be found a liar. So I get the risk of making a statement that God says what he needs to say, addressing each generation right where they are at. Creative ideas are progressive. He did not give Adam the creative idea to build a railroad system. That was dropped into the generation that needed to hear it. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but this is not Revelation. Well, but I might retort, no, you know I will retort, that creative ideas is not the only thing he releases in specific generational seasons. Yes, he is an enterprise-level God who also speaks to the individual heart of each person who is open to the idea that he exists. I guess what I might be trying to say is that we don't reject the revelatory prophetic word for today because we have liars in our midst. We have been warned that they exist, but not so that we would withdraw, but that we would be careful as to who we listen to, and then, after they pass a spiritual litmus test, we act on the word which may be a right now word for us, sent by God to aid us in our season. I also guess what I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't tighten the word up so much so that we squeeze out the seeds with the juice. Listen, you are a very different individual than anyone else who has ever existed and who will ever exist, and God will speak to you in other languages other than the King James Version. No one today gets that language, and thank God others caught on to the idea that it's okay to make translations of the Bible that speak to today's generations. Did they add or take away? And to what book should we compare its accuracy? Now I know that God authored the scriptures and used men to document what we needed to hear from the time of their writings to the time he comes back. I'm also seeing that God doesn't use spiritual police to ensure the Bible is being handled properly. He uses teachers to teach what he says. He also teaches others also. 2 Timothy 2:2, Ephesians 4:11-16. We will do okay if we let God handle his business while we handle just the business he gave us to handle. Mom and Dad didn't need your help to parent, and God doesn't need your help to father. Wow, what a journey to get to the beginning of the original, how I saw it in my mind message. But, we might have a first here, which is that I will leave this one alone and not move forward with what I thought I needed to address. Yes, I will practice what he preaches, which is that I will not add or take away from what he says. I know, I'm here all morning, or at least until 7:30. Well, that's it for today. Just kidding. Thank God, no more woes. Remember, it's not what you find wrong or disagree with regarding these messages, but what you can take away from it. Together we can do more to impact the kingdom than if we work alone. Let's flip the script and kill, steal, and destroy the works of the enemy and create space for the light of light to shine through in people's lives. Plant a seed and click on the like and subscribe button. Let's build this ministry together. Thanks, and see you next time in Deep Waters.